Are
Preparing
we
the live
live?
stream.
We are
Yep,
live.
we are
Let
here
me-
Monday night.
It is another Monday night. We are back. Welcome back, everyone, to Mindful Nuggets podcast.
Preparing the live.
We have a
Yeah,
special guest for you tonight,
we are here
and
Monday
you're
night.
going to absolutely love what we've got for you tonight, guys. So last week we talked about something that many people quietly experience, right? That mask and leaving it behind. So tonight we are going to move forward from you taking off the mask and now stepping into your identity and your authenticity. But before we get started, welcome back, Mr. William, and let's welcome our guest tonight.
We got a
Mr.
special guest
Paul
tonight.
Ybarra is with us in the house tonight. Welcome, Paul.
Hey, welcome. I mean, not welcome. I'm so used to doing a podcast on my own, but thank you so much. And
Right?
welcome everyone that's coming in on YouTube and all the things. I'm super excited for this conversation. And yeah, let's start cooking. I love it.
Yes. All right. Well, again, Mr. William, it's another Monday night. We're back in here, and we have a special guest tonight, which I'm so happy that Paul is here with us. We left off with taking off the mask, right? Taking it off, stepping into our identity, being who we are, being authentic. So, Mr. William, take it away and kick us off. Let's start this conversation tonight.
Yeah, most of us wear a mask and we don't even know it. The world loves to assign masks to people. And as we go along, we're following people's ways, people's systems, but we always end up hollow inside. Something's missing, something's askew in our lives. And it's really hard to put a finger on it until you actually realize that I'm not being me, or am I not being the way I've been created to be, more importantly, on it. Until we start understanding to ask that question and stop, why am I doing these things? Because what's happening on the outside is not something I like in my life. I don't like being in this space. I know for myself, back in my early years, I became an alcoholic, and I didn't like that. But I didn't know how to get out of that either, because I didn't know how life would look like not having that in my life when you get so far down the road. And so when you pull that mask off, it's kind of scary sometimes.
But what was the mask that you were actually wearing? What was
The
the
mask got
real, who was the William outside and who was the William inside?
the way to the outside is an actor. That's if you go back to what a mask is, it's a performance. You're putting
Right.
something over you, over yourself, and you're not really being yourself. You're being something that somebody else wants you to be on it. And
So
you're not
who
really
were you out there?
authentic. Say again?
Who were you out there? When you were out in public, who were you
I
out
was
there?
this professional, successful business owner that had my act together on the outside, but I was hurting on the inside. I was
Mm.
burnt up. I was wasting all my time chasing after success. Nothing came to fruition that meant anything in it. You get to one area, there's always more. Or you get to another area, you thought it would be this wonderful feeling, and it's empty. But yet I'm on this hamster wheel continuously trying to be more efficient, performing and performing. Next thing you know, the hamster wheel just flies off and flies apart. And that's what
Okay,
happened in my
let's
life.
hold on there. Let's hold on for a moment. Mr. Paul, I know you got thoughts all over this. I'm ready for this.
Mhm.
Mr. Paul,
Yeah,
let,
when you talk about masks, I like to call it that we have been framed in life,
Love it.
right?
wow, that was good.
So
Oh,
we've
yeah.
been framed. The way that I want to break that down is we've all been framed with certain type of goggles in our life, right? So when we see as children, we see marriages the way that we have always seen them. So we've been framed to think, act, see a certain way. And so once we start to operate in that frame and you start to that old prescription starts to get rusty and scratchy and all the things, you have to go and get rechecked to find out what the prescription is for your season now versus
Ooh.
the prescription of what you just came from. right? So, so many times people will change the frame, but they won't change the lens. So that's in relationships and what I call the alignment piece of it. If you're not aligned with God, Holy Spirit, and the action that He's given us to operate in, you can change your tires on your car twice a year, but you're still going to get the wear out on either side, right? So in your relationships, what happens is in that space of masks, frames, whatever, we constantly replace the wrong thing. We never go to the root of the identity of the thing that's causing us to go in that direction. And so unless we look at the compass at, and really look at the dashboard of the boat to say, okay, this is the place that I'm going, we're always going to constantly be off course. And so getting back to the mask that I wore was a mask of hardness, a mask of I got it all together, the mask of don't tell me what to do. I've been this way for so long. The mask of humor. I'm still that way. The mask of making people laugh, the mask of all of those things. But since I've come into the kingdom, I've learned that my humor was a gift that the enemy tried to use to distort my pain. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's
So
good.
No,
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely.
so that personality that God has given me, it was tainted for so long because in order for me to be the life of the party, I had to make people laugh. That would cause them to, oh, well, he's got it all together. Like this guy is funny. This guy's this guy's that. So those are the masks that sometimes we as people wear. We wear the professional mask. We wear the humor mask. We wear the successful mask. We wear the I'm so humble that I'm so humble. That's a mask, right?
Yeah.
And so when we finally get to the place of understanding, like now it's time to pull the mask off, that's a scary thing. It's a very scary thing. Why? Because now people can see the real person behind the mask.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my thoughts right now. Yeah, and
No, that
let's
was
go deeper in that.
good. That
That
was
was good.
good.
A
Absolutely.
lot of us stick to the story that we
Yeah.
have. And, that,
Yeah, we
and
stay in our
that's
story.
that track that's going around and around and around and around. And what we're not doing is creating a new story, a new life. And even if we take the stylus off the record from playing that same old track again, we don't know what to put down on the next tune
Mhm.
to play in our lives. And that's it. And to be vulnerable, this is where it really gets sticky, is laying down pride and saying, I'm lost. I can't do this on my own anymore. I need help and I need God
Mhm.
because there's no one out there that's going to be able to help me. They're just not able to.
Yeah,
And then when you become vulnerable, that's when it really gets messy because the enemy comes around, kicks you while you're down,
yeah, for sure.
and that hurts you.
Yeah,
But that's also the beginning where God can intervene.
absolutely.
Well, I would hope that if we're coming into taking off the mask at this point, this is my prayer out for everyone, is that you're coming into the knowing of surrendering to God because He is the one who's going to guide you through this authenticity process. He's the one who's going to speak through you to be out there being your authentic self. It is a scary process. It is a process. It's a journey, right? It doesn't happen overnight. We don't transform overnight. We don't all of a sudden, uh, step in. I'm going to use William as an example. We don't automatically step into no longer drinking, right? We just don't do that. We have to get that support. We have to get that loving community or somebody to guide us through. God is the overall who we need to surrender to, and He's going to guide us through every step. But you still have to have that outside support process. So, and I know that for many it's NAAA, things of that nature, but there's other support, communities out there as well that you can tap into for whatever the case may be, for whatever you're taking your mask off for and coming into your identity. With that said, the center, of course, is that we want you, we hope anyway, that you'll surrender to God and you'll let Him guide you through the process. Any thoughts on that, Mr. Paul?
Absolutely. So the one thing that comes back to mind is when you're in the place where you know, like there's a point in everyone's life where a person comes to understand I'm not being real with myself. Because at the end of the day, when that mask has to come off and you're laying your head on that pillow, there's no one else to lie to, right? So that moment, those are the moments that will lead up to the place of the accountability, that will lead up to the place of intersection of new people. That's what happened with me, was being able to intersect with somebody that not only saw through me, but also didn't put up with me. And this is where the transition in Christianity, because this person was saved. He was a Christian. Rest in peace. I believe he's about 9 years now. He was one of my greatest mentors that I learned a lot of life from. But here's where the distortion comes into the body. And I'm just going to keep it 100. Well, we just have to love on the people. Okay, cool. We do. However, if you love me, then you're going to tell me the truth. You're going to tell me the truth that honestly, you're being a jerk. I'm not going to put up with you just because you're highly gifted at what you do in this workplace. I'm not going to put up with you no more. You are this close to getting fired. And I say all that because these are the conversations him and I had at one point, to where I had to back up for a minute to say, okay, this is the one shot that I have. Like, this is the one shot in that season. And so what happens so many times is that as coaches, because that's who I am, as mentors, as influencers, as content creators, we sometimes, and I'm not in that place any longer, but it took me years to finally get there, of wanting something more than somebody else wanted it for themselves. And that's not a good place to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had conversations with believers like, well, I just want more, and that's wrong for you to think that way. And I'm like, no. Because not even Jesus wanted it more than what the person wanted it for.
Oh, that's good.
And
Oh,
here's
yeah.
the truth. The man that was by the pool for 38 years, Jesus knew, the Bible says it clearly, he knew his condition for 38 years. Not once in those 38 years until that divine appointment. And this is where the truth comes in. He didn't lay hands on him. He didn't spit on his eyes. He didn't touch his legs. He didn't call down angels. He didn't do any of that. He said, get up. What does that mean? This man was surrounded by lame, mute, blind, deaf, all the things. And he thought this was his condition.
Mm-hmm.
Not once did
story.
Jesus say,
Yeah.
not once did Jesus say, let's help him up and put him in the water. None of that had to happen. All he said was, get up, take your mat. What does the mat represent? Your junk. All the junk that's in your trunk, take it with you, because you are going to have to unpack it. And that's the problem that a lot of people have, because that's the problem I had. I came to Christ. I'm like, okay, what does it even mean to be a new creation? Because I still owe the dope man some money. I still have a porn addiction. I'm still messed up in the head. I'm still angry. I'm still bitter. So what do you mean I'm a new creation? It's this fluffy message that people give the new convert. Well, you're a new creation. And that works for a minute. But when I had to lay my head on the pillow to say, I'm a new creation, but I'm jacked. How do I operate in this? How do I do this thing? That's when the real journey began, was understanding I have to deal with my stuff. I have to recognize and I have to pull the things out, instead of this facade of, I'm just la, 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 la. God loves me and I'm good. No, man, you've got to unpack the thing. You have to unpack it. God is going to expose it to show you these are the elements. This is what's wrong with you. Here's the thing that's happening. Okay, cool. You got it? Now you've got to deal with each one of them, and I'm going to work it out with you. Now,
Oh, that's good.
let me just break this down. The blood covers the sin. The blood, the cross was for the sin. The grave was for authority and power. And that's where so many people sit. I'm just going to sit at the cross and just weep and moan and all the things. Go visit the grave because he's not there no more. He's gone. Why? He busted out of the grave to let you know that you can too. So
Oh,
as
yeah.
you can, now you're able to look and have the authority over your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. Right? 2 Corinthians 10, 3-5, casting down every vain argument, every thought, every one of those things. And once you punish that to obey, now you can come against that thing. But what happens so many times is people will just quote, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But you didn't read the before.
Yes, that
What
is
does
so
the before
true.
say? The before says, I know what it is to be abased, and I know what it is to abound. What does that mean?
Mhm.
I know what it is to have all the money in the world. I know what it is to be that Pharisee. I know what it is to be that guy, but I also know what it is to be broke, busted, and disgusted. I know what it is to be humbled. I know what it is to be broken in spirit. So because I've gone through both of those things, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But we have to get out of this notion of, I'm just going to quote a scripture and everything's going to be kumbaya. I'm going to sit around a campfire. We're all going to eat s'mores. No, you have to go through the trials. Why does the Bible say, count it all joy when, not if, when you face trials, persecutions, and tribulations? So we have to walk through the fire. We have to go through the fire to be refined, to look at the things that we've been carrying for so long and throw them in the fire and say, I'm done with that. This no longer has power over me. And you have to cut those things off, because if you don't cut those things off, all you're doing now, you're in Christianity, you're in the kingdom with a new mask on. You haven't dealt with the root. You haven't dealt with the thing that's driving you into that next place. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
I like how you
digress.
say that.
I'm
I
gonna
like how you say
digress.
that because
No,
you're
that's
you're
it.
coming into the kingdom with the mask on. You're coming in with a new mask. So I really like how you put that out there because that's true. And I don't think many people look at that and really think about that.
This
That's
is words
great.
that have authority, but if you don't know
Right.
the authority, you don't know how to use the word.
Absolutely.
And also, the thing that we're talking about is coming back to surrender and neutral. It's going from the pride, I'm in the driver's seat, to me getting my butt out of the driver's seat because it has no business in the driver's seat because I don't know how to drive.
That's that
I really
control.
don't on it. And the thing that helped me a lot was ask God. I think it's Psalm 139, 23, 24. Search my heart, oh God, see if there's any offense in me on it. Because at that point, I started becoming aware. I'm actively looking for those things you're talking about, Paul. Is where am I sitting? I don't know if I'm sitting. How do I know I'm sitting? Really, it's not sin; it's disobedience to God and not conforming to His way. Well, I want to be a new creature. Well, I am, but I stretch that rubber band a little bit and let go. It pops right back. The behavior and identity hadn't moved yet. We hadn't transformed. And I like the part when you said he rose out of the grave. Well, when he came out of the grave, he went to work. He didn't sit still. So if you want God, you better go seek him. You'll get
Very
answers from
true. He
that.
didn't sit still. He did not sit still. He got up, he went
No,
to work, he
he was in
started. Yeah.
motion. He went to hell, had the keys, defeated death. He witnessed before the ones that had already died and pulled ones that believed in him up with him. He's in motion. He's always in the mood, even though he's resting at the same time in peace and rest in him. His burden is light. We're meant to be out there in motion with him,
Okay, so where's
communicating
the
with him.
freedom then? Where is that freedom coming in then? I'm presenting this to both of you. Where is the
It's letting
freedom at this
go
point?
of the heavy yoke of all the
But so
burdens that
many
you're carrying.
people, and I understand that, but so many people are still sitting here watching this going, okay, I'm ready to take my mask off. I'm ready to, be in my identity and my authenticity. But when can I find that freedom? Where is that sitting? Because that's what I want. I want to be free. Where is that, guys?
So are you asking how a person can let go? Is that what
How
you're
can they
asking?
actually
Mhm.
step into that and have that peace that they need in order to move forward? Yes.
So there's 3 R's that I teach along with all kinds of other stuff that I teach. But number one is recognize. You have to recognize the places of your life that need letting go of. So you have to be able to recognize. Once you can recognize it, I've told people this and I'll say it again tonight for whoever's watching, is how do you let go of something that you've never had a hold of?
Well, that's good.
Okay. So you've been in a pattern. There's a pattern that causes you to move a certain way. The statement of I'm in a rut is an actual real thing.
Mhm.
Neurologically, you begin to create ruts in your mind that it's a pattern that you constantly go through. So there's that piece. When we hiked the Grand Canyon in 22, it was amazing to hike that. And if there's anyone here who has not hiked the Grand Canyon, I would encourage you to at least do it once. At least go down Indian Trail. I mean, Bright Angel Trail down to Indian Gardens and come back up. It's about a 6-hour hike. But that hike showed me life. It showed me ruts in the path. It showed me the edges. It showed me cliffs. It showed me switchbacks. It showed me a lot. But for this context, there were areas that watch this, if I didn't stay in the rut to recognize that that rut was actually going to get me to the place of flatness, sometimes you have to stay in that. Why? Because you have to recognize the pattern. What I do with my clients is I tell them this for the next 90 days, but the first 30 days, within that time, we're going to first recognize the pattern without trying to fix it. You have to recognize it, write it down. Even if it's one word, like, why am I, how many here do this when you're at your desk? You just reach for something, right? You reach for your phone. That's a ghost grab. So the pattern is I'm working on something, and usually, typically, you do that when you're frustrated with what you're working on. Typically.
That's
So
true.
I'm going to challenge you guys for the next 3 days. Try that. Just be working, and all of a sudden you get up to go to the refrigerator, and you're like, "Why am I at the refrigerator?" There's a pattern going on here that's saying, "I don't want to deal with this right here. I don't want to. I see a grizzly bear coming in my spirit, and I have to run for safety." So the safety is the phone. Scroll. Now what? That's a distraction, right?
Yeah.
So
The
those
hurting.
patterns that you live by, those have to be broken, but you have to first recognize. Once you see the pattern and you're like, oh, why do you think psychologists get paid so much? Because they're recognizing the pattern first. Step number 2 from that, the second R, is to release it. So going back to how do you let go of something you've never had a hold of? You have to recognize it, grab a hold of it. I went through that process with no 12-step program, nothing, no church, nothing. For a whole year, me and God by ourselves, fasting, praying, and He's showing me this is the pattern. Take that thing, and I want you to look at it. Once I looked at the thing that was causing the inner drive of sin, because sin and iniquity are two different things,
Mhm.
and people don't realize that. You're praying for remove the iniquity. That's your job. Christ's job was sin. Now, yes, was he wounded for our iniquities and transgressions, all of that? Yes. But that's where the power comes in because of the blood. Why does the blood matter? This is where it's going to free some people today. When you look at the places that Jesus shed his blood, that reverses the curse. It's not this kumbaya message of he died for all my sins. No, it says he died for the sin of the world.
Mhm.
Singular, not plural.
That's very true. Very true.
So all those patterns, that's an iniquity that's been ingrained in us. And iniquity is like an arrow. If there's a wobble in the arrow, it's going to miss the mark. That's the iniquity. What's the iniquity? The inner drive of sin. Going back to a 12-step program, it's the tendencies that we wake up every day. My tendency as your next level mindset coach is to wake up angry, bitter, and negative. People don't believe that sometimes. They're like, what? You? Listen, I have to tell myself every single morning, this is a good day. You're going to make it. You're going to do the thing. Because here's the thing that you teach is the thing that is driving you every single day nuts.
Oh, amen. That's so true.
Right?
So true.
Once you recognize, release, now you can revive. Those 3 words are literally a 90-step program, all in 3 words. The first 4 weeks is release, is recognize, all the way up to week number 4, inventory. From 5 to 5 to 9, it's release. Now you're releasing those things. The revive part is telling your testimony, walking out with somebody else, accountability partners, all the things. So that in a nutshell, and I know I've kind of gone long, but the truth
fine.
is,
this is what we're here for.
That's right.
But the truth is that people have to see the pattern. That's step number 1. You have to recognize the pattern and don't try to fix it. Once you see the pattern and you see it, then you give it to God and say, okay, how do I break this? Who do I need in my life to help me break this thing? As a pastor leading a ministry, I had to go back to a celebrate recovery. I had to go back because of my anger. I had to go back. I went 3 times and I'm sitting there the 3rd time and I'm like, why am I here? I know this stuff. And the Lord's like, why are you here? You know this stuff. I never went back. Now, I'm not negating a 12-step program. I've taught it. I still teach it. It's just camouflaged. That's all it is. I could coach a business owner, a CEO. I could coach Tony Robbins. It's going to be the same content, same content, right? But in that moment, I'm like, God, okay. And I said, that's it. No more mask. No more mask. I'm going to change. And this is where it starts. And it started right about 2017. I was done. I was just done. Like I was done with me again. So there's layers of layers and layers and layers. Listen, I never speak from a place of arrival ever because he ain't done with me yet.
No. So time we arrive, we'll be with him. That's
right.
the right.
I was going to say, that's when you'll be arriving.
Mm-hmm.
A good thing that helped me, because this was something I noticed and observed. And we go through observations in different stages. The first is the very part that you're talking about. You see yourself doing it, but you don't really have the power yet to alter the course of it. But you start recognizing that, and you're in observation mode. When you said don't fix it, that's exactly right. You need to observe what it is. You need to lift it up to God. And that's what God does. He does take that away from you if you allow him to. But first we got to recognize what it is, and he'll help point it out. So one of the things I noticed, I would say I'm going to spend time here, but I was doing something over here. I would write down a list of things to do or create, yet I'm doing something else over here. That's a pattern. That's avoidance, or that wasn't that important to me. Either one. It was just busy work. So that becomes a good indicator. Is my word aligning up with my actions? Are they in alignment or are they not? Well, if they're not, then we got an alignment issue there. What is that? Why is that? And so it's a dissection, one layer of the onion at a time. You don't go to the core. It's peeling that one thing and start being aware of those little things. Eventually, your output of your life is going to change because now you're starting to get that one piece at a time identified. God's going to work on it. You're going to work on it, and you're going to be working on it. That gets to be the work for you. Is actually getting in there and identifying what it is and bringing it to God, and you work on it with Him. Let the Spirit guide you. Get into fertile ground around people that will support you through this journey. Because it's very difficult when you start saying that I'm broken, I'm done, I'm sick of myself, I'm sick of being like this, and you're ready to change the behaviors, not who you are that you were created to be, but your behaviors and your identity, and get in line with God. It's going to take some time, and you don't have to be patient. It's going to take years. Paul just said it's years of progress, but it's the best thing that will ever happen in your life because you're going to start being filled with the Spirit and not filled with the world's junk. That's when
I think I
He
like it
starts
where Paul
coming in.
said he went back 3 times. Now,
Right.
how significant is that? He went back 3 times. And in that third time, he asked himself, why am I here? Paul, did you have any significance to that at all? Did that resonate at all whenever you thought about it, going back for that third time? And then, all of a sudden it's a resonation of, why are you here? Why are you back here for this third round?
Absolutely. As far as and that's funny because I'm like a numbers guy. When I hear numbers, I'm like, oh, let me add them up, this and that. But
Totally.
no, I never correlated that to it. But the revelation behind it was literally, um, get off your mat and walk.
Exactly.
I love that analogy.
Exactly. He
Just
had
get off
given
your
you
mat.
opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And that third opportunity, you had that realization, okay, I need to get off my mat. I need to
That's
get walking.
that's a
So
perfect example of identity assumption
Yeah.
by the
so here,
proximity of what you're around.
yeah. So here's another thing. Since we're talking about masks, sometimes, and again, I'm not negating any type of programs. I have a 12-week program. I have Deeper Waters. I have all these different things, right? So there is truth to all of that, right?
Absolutely.
However, a 12-step program, because of what you were just asking me right now, I'm like, huh, that makes so much sense. Is that sometimes we can hide behind a program. We can hide behind a ministry. Like, well, I'm going through recovery. And for me, I'm like, okay, cool. But if you're still the same person that you were March, what are we, 23rd, 2025, in 2026, there's a problem.
Right.
So somewhere along the way, that is a mask.
That is.
Well, I'm going to my meetings. Cool. It's great, but I don't see the fruit. Right. So we
Right.
have to be
Oh,
careful in the mask. I literally tattooed my ministry on my arm, Set Free, 12-step program, because it was my identity. And I'm so glad that I did, because this is my testimony for leaders, for pastors, for bishops. Like, don't make it about, I'm sorry, but don't make it about the name of the
Right.
ministry.
Right.
You make it about the
exactly.
mission behind the message.
Absolutely.
Because once you lose the mission, you're jacked.
Yeah.
Now you're in this
You're in
place
works.
where you have to carry a certain load, and that's what it comes down to. So sometimes a person that is in recovery, a person that's in ministry, a pastor, leaders, all of that will now operate behind the mask of, well, this is how I need to show up for everyone else. How are you showing up for you, bro? How are
Right.
you showing up for you,
Exactly.
sis? How are you showing up
Exactly.
for you, married couple, as
Hmm.
pastors and leaders? Because you're showing up in a way that God never asked you to show up.
That's true. Oh,
So
that was good.
yeah, I just wanted to add that.
No, that's
A
really
lot, a
good
lot
because
of
that
it,
brings a
a
lot
lot
of
has,
conversation.
there's a lot of fear and change in
That's right.
behind that. You
That's
can get
right.
into familiarity. You can learn the role, learn the language, but is it in your heart? Is Christ in your heart more importantly
Right.
on it?
Mhm.
And are you going to venture out? God gives you the light to the path. And if you trust him, he'll make your way straight.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do your part. You don't have to trust him. And
Absolutely.
you don't have to step out. See that
Yeah.
it's going to be fine. It's not about the world. It's not about any of us around you. It's about you and your relationship with God. And you're going to have to trust him in this journey. Otherwise, this is not going to work.
Well, and that takes a
That's true
while too.
faith.
That trusting
It
process,
does.
takes a while
It
to
does.
really, there's a commitment that has to be there. There's a real commitment that not only are you making a commitment to you and stepping out of your mask and truly into who you are, you're making that commitment, but now you're asking me to also have faith in God that I'm going to get through this process. That's huge. That's a lot on
Well,
someone's shoulders.
yeah.
And where, again, this is where I want to point out someone like Paul, and or ourselves, who are trying to help people see where they are and meet them where they are and get them to see the value. I mean, I love Paul's 3 R's because he taps right into that next step. So in other words, you're struggling out here tonight and you're wondering where you need to be. I highly suggest you reach out to Paul and have those conversations and let him dive deep into how he can get you moving forward.
Paul, as he went through transformation with God, like I did, I found when I was started speaking, and the I am is the great I am, which is God, which is funny when you introduce I am, we're already acknowledging God right then and there, and then your name. Like, I'm already related to God when I say that. But I am worthy. I'm redeemed. When I start using these words over and over again, I'm re-scripting my mind, like you're saying, that I am worthy. I have worth. I have value in my life. And I have value in being me, not anybody else. And God made me for a reason.
Mhm.
I'm here for a purpose. He loves me. When we start changing that language, we start remapping, then we start trusting a little bit more as we go along the way. Before you know it, you're really trusting on, because when you get into some storms in your life, and they happen all the time, and you have the peace of walking through that storm, that's what Michelle was alluding to. So when you get that peace, when you have confidence and absolute trust in God that you're going to be fine. And the world can't take that away from you.
And I'm a testimony to that. There's no doubt about that. When William and I, joined the leadership program that we both were doing and taking, I wasn't willing to step out of my mask. William can attest to that.
But yeah,
I
she's kicking and fighting. She did not want to give it up.
So when Paul says that he was angry, I can relate when he
She was
said
very
he's,
angry.
I
She was an
was
angry person.
very, very angry person and very rebellious. Very rebellious. But what people didn't know about me, again, that mask, was that I was into my faith. But I was not, I was in question of my faith. I was in question as to, is he really showing up? Is he really helping me through this? Am I really here right now and having to deal with the situation? Number one, I didn't want to be where I was. I was very rebellious to that, but I stuck it out. I stuck it out for all good. God wanted me to go through that. He wanted me to be a part of that, obviously, because it's really helped me. But that's where William comes in, because William was the one who said, you're in your faith, but yet you're not speaking upon it. You're not really, into the commitment. So that's when I really started seeing where that
Also,
trust starts to
Mhm.
come in. So
False analogy, if you put new tires on it, but if they're bent out like this or out of alignment, you're still gonna wear them out. And that's
that's absolutely
what
true.
is exactly what that is, completely out of alignment. It's like you believe, yeah, you don't speak it.
I wasn't. I
There's,
wasn't.
there's no alignment to the
No.
words or your
And
actions to it.
And I really want you both to speak upon alignment, if you will, just really quickly, because that's not something that we've really tapped into wholeheartedly. And I think tonight would be a great opportunity for that. Me, myself, I had a hard time realizing what that meant. You kept talking about alignment. I kept thinking, what does that even mean? It took me a while to understand that I needed to be in that commitment. I needed to be committed. Either I was going to be in or out, one way or the other, in or out. I was either going to make this change or I wasn't going to make this change. I could still sit over here and go down this wrong path of being angry, being tired, being emotionally distraught, mentally, unwell, or I could step into some faith and I could build upon it. But I didn't understand how that all aligned. So speak upon that because you both have been in those situations as well.
Paul, you want to go?
Yeah, I think for me to help anyone who's listening right now, and then also help you through it as well, Michelle, is I always use practicality to explain, right? So what did Jesus do? He spoke in parables. So I like to speak in stories as well. So when you look at a motor, a transmission, a rear end, there's not a whole lot of components to a vehicle. Nowadays, now they got sensors and they got this, they got that, and all the stuff. You can't really work on them. However, all the basics are all still the same. You have a rear end, drive shaft, tranny, and motor. Simple as that. Now, what brings them all together? A harmonic balancer. So when I think of alignment, I think of everything coming into rhythm and everything coming into harmony. Once things come into harmony, because we are spirit, soul, body, right? So I can work out all day and just be this big buff guy. But if I never feed my spirit and only my mind and my physical, then I can't deliver a heartfelt message. Everything's all about me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm so spiritual that all I do is pray, fast, pray, fast, pray, fast. And I know this is going to jack some people up. If I don't get out of this word and go out and apply the word, you see, there's too many people in the body that are just there, right here. Well, the Lord says this. Yeah, I know what the Lord says, but the Lord also says,
Do it.
go work, go do it. Right. So if you're over spiritual, guess what happens? And this is an epidemic that's happening in the body, and it's been happening for a long time. What do we do after church? We go eat.
We go eat.
Typically,
Fried chicken. Fried chicken.
typically at a buffet.
That's true. That is very true.
So what happens? When that happens, guess what? Now you're obese. But we call it fellowship. We call it, oh, we're hanging out with our brothers and sisters. I lived that. I was 300 and something pounds and I lived in Dallas, Texas, because all we did was eat. We were in ministry, but we were just fleshly. So we ate a lot. When I moved to Colorado, I had no choice but to lose weight. I moved into a house that has a sauna, a gym, and mountains. There's no way, shape, or form that I could say, I don't have the means to do this thing.
What excuse
right?
were you going to make?
No excuse. So coming back to the harmonic balancer, without that harmonic balancer, everything is doing this. Everything's just vibrating. Everything's jacked. So you have to be in harmony. You have to be in rhythm with all three elements, spirit, soul, and body.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get that, once you're in the word and you make that conscious effort every day, even if it's 15 minutes, we get into the place sometimes where we're like, oh my God, I'm going to spend 3 hours. No, you're not. You haven't even spent 5 minutes. How about you just break it down? I'm not going to get into the gym. I'm going to lose. I can lose 50 pounds and 100 pounds in 3 months, but is it healthy? No, it's not. It's not going to be healthy.
Not balanced.
But if I'm looking at it going, you know what? By December 31st, I'm going to lose 52 pounds. That's doable. Why? Because it's 1 pound per week.
Yep.
So once we take those small actionable steps, then we're able to be in alignment with God. That's in every area, everything we do. And what I learned years ago about coaching and clients and all of that was, instead of me teaching people how to live, I needed to show them how to live. Once I show them how to live, then it's like, oh, you wrote a book? Oh, he must be dedicated. Oh, you lost this much. Oh my God, he must be dedicated. He must be obedient. He must be disciplined. Right. That's what's going to happen. Right. So that's what I would say as far as the alignment piece. Everything has to fall in alignment, because if not, you're going to be driving down the road and it's going to be a mess.
Oh,
you're never going to get to your destination.
That's good. Everybody out here listening tonight, I hope you heard that. So, Mr. William, what was your alignment piece that finally came? What made you see it?
How we speak is what we create or destroy.
That's true.
What am I speaking? Michelle, when you're saying that I'm trying to do this, I'm saying you're working on it.
Right.
I'm really putting some people down at the moment because I'm mad at them. Yet I want to be blessed in alignment with them. So you can't be one way and be another way.
That's right.
It can't be a duality. All right. Really, Paul's got a great analogy with this, but I look at it as first principles. What affects the mind is going to affect the body, is going to affect the spirit.
That's true.
All right. So eating, for example, I'll give you a good example of me and how I'm coming into alignment. You know, because as all of us are going to work on this, we're never going to arrive. We're going through what's called a sanctification period, where God is working within, cleaning the house up, and getting us prepared for our next journey.
That's right.
But all right, so I'm taking small steps. What I'm getting curious. All right, so I'm a forced diabetic because of my transplant, so I have to take insulin. All right. Well, what I'm learning is when I don't eat and I fast, my liver will dump insulin or sugar into my system automatically because it's thinking it's in a starvation mode. Now, stay with me on the starvation part of it. All right. So when it does that, my cortisol goes up. And when that happens, I'm in a survival mode and the visceral fat won't come off of me. It stays on me. It stayed on me for a long time. And so I'm curious about what's causing all this effect. So I'm looking at timing and sequence of events, when to start fueling myself in the right way with God's foods in order to get I'm no longer in that fight, flight, scarcity mode, and my body can relax some. When my body starts relaxing, well, guess what? It doesn't have all the irritations that are going on in my body. Well, I start sleeping better. When I start sleeping better, I start getting more energy. Well, guess what? Because I got more energy, I feel more motivated to start working out. Okay, so that's going. Now I'm also providing fuel to my mind. I'm getting oxygen to my mind. When I'm doing that, I'm already thinking better than I was before. Therefore, I want to read and listen. I'm committed to listening to something every day that's going to grow or stretch me every day, non-negotiable. But I do better receiving that information and fueling my mind with the word, testimonies, whatever it is, learning something new every day and stretching. Okay, I've got the body, I've got the mind, I've got the body, I'm feeling it right. So each is connected. Well, I feel neglected, empty, hollow, hungry when I don't study the word or listen to something about the word. Because that brings peace in my life. It brings growth. It brings realization of what God's telling me that I need to be in action with, or I need to learn, or I need to address myself. But if I get one of those out of whack, then the whole system's out of balance. I'm not in alignment. I am not. See, I don't try to perform either anymore, but I do try to be within his power and existence. And that takes mind, soul, spirit, body, the whole caboodle. But I only started with one thing at a time, because what we're looking at is the patterns. We have certain patterns. We eat certain way, we eat at certain times, and we eat certain things. We read or we don't read. And if we are reading, what are we fueling our mind with? What are we doing? We're scrolling. We're looking at junk. We're letting the world tell us what we are and what they want you to do. Well, stop. Quit that. Put the word in front of you. Sit and talk to God for 2 or 3 minutes every morning at least before the world even comes into play. Be at centerpiece.
Yeah.
These are the non-negotiable things that brings you back into alignment the way you want, because you're inputting the right things into the system first before you even go out. You capture the morning, more than likely you seize the day. And if you go with the world, you'll always be in chaos. And something's going to distract you, pull you, drain you, warp you. The decision is yours. It's a choice. And it's a choice to say, stop. Let's do some work here. It doesn't have to be Herculean.
Good.
That's when it fails. Small steps.
Wow. I agree. Small steps, one step at a time. As we've said from the very beginning, we were going to talk about wearing a mask, moving into the identity, and then next we'll talk about the authenticity. And each week we're diving deeper into this conversation. And I am so grateful that Mr. Paul came in tonight and joined us in this conversation.
Oh my gosh, yes.
This has went so
The
much
blessing.
deeper than we actually anticipated it going, but it's been absolutely awesome. I mean, everyone out here listening tonight, if you are
Oh
struggling,
Lord, that
if
time's already gone
you
by.
are,
Wow.
or if you're with, an identity crisis right now and you're wondering where to go, how to, move into that next direction, and you're needing some coaching, you're needing some mentoring, uh, we do want you to seek out Mr. Paul. So, Mr. Paul, tonight when I asked you where you would like everybody to go and visit you, you said go to your Instagram. So, would you like to tell everyone on Instagram and social media how to get in touch with you over there?
You're muted, Paul.
Yep, that was a rookie move.
That's okay. You're good.
Well, it just
That's
makes us human. So fantastic.
Yeah, that's a straight up rookie move. But first of all, thank you both for allowing me to speak, being on your podcast. It's been amazing just being able to dive into this. I mean, we could have gone further, but you know how it is. Like we have to get off this
We
thing.
talk about
we have to bring you back. That's just it. You got to come back because you got to finish now.
Awesome. I definitely will do that. But you could find me right now. My website is under construction, so I'm revamping my website. This year is my 180 years strong. That's what I call it. It's God is turning some things around. So there's a lot of new things that are coming into play that I have to reconstruct. But for right now, you can head on over to IG, and it's at Paul Builds People. That's my Instagram. That's my Facebook as well, and LinkedIn. So head on over there. But typically just connect with me on IG. That's where I dump all of my content. And then from there, I just, scatter it out. But it's been amazing. It's been a pleasure to be able to be here with you, William, and Michelle. I appreciate it. And yes, I'll definitely come back. So you just let me know when you want that to happen, and
absolutely, because we have to finish the conversation. Like we have to dive into the rest of this because we've got more to talk about. We've got a renewal of the mind we need to talk about in this process, and the whole pretty much renewing of the whole transformation, right? We still got the whole transformation process to go through. So you got to come back.
Here's a beautiful thing. It took you a long, long time for many of us to become what we are.
That's right.
Okay. Well, it's going to take a little bit of time to go to what God wants you to be.
That's
who you are in Him.
Absolutely.
To think about it, the journey's worth it. The fruit is worth it. You want to live instead of be frustrated.
Absolutely.
So it's totally worth it. And Paul, we're honored to have you here. Seriously,
Absolutely
and from my
honored.
heart to yours, we love you and we appreciate you dearly. And in fact, I'm glad that we found a brother, a
Amen.
true
Amen.
brother.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, I love you
I'm
both
so
too as
grateful.
well. I think my wife's ready for me to get up and go eat some din din. So
That sounds
It
good.
is time.
it
It's
is time. But I love you
All right.
guys, everyone on YouTube. We'll see you on the next one. All right.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank
Good
you
night, everyone. Be
both. Have a
blessed.
great
God loves
night.
you.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. That was your nugget for today. We'll see you back next Monday night on Mindful Nuggets.